guys, it's Erica. Like last week, you have 5 minutes until the lesson starts. So if you need to use the restroom or do anything before, go now. You have about 5 minutes, okay? When the timer ends, we will begin, all right? See you guys then. guys, welcome to Kingdom Kids Online Week 2. The countdown is over, which means we are starting. I'm so excited that you are here and that you're watching, and I can't wait, so let's get into the lesson right now. If you missed last week, no worries. We talked about Zacchaeus, and that video and that lesson is still on YouTube and it's still posted to Facebook. So if you didn't get to see that one and you want to go back and watch it, you're welcome to go do that after this one. So this week on Sunday, we learned about Jesus calming the storm. And if you weren't there on Sunday, I'll give you a quick recap of the story before we get into our object lesson. So Jesus was teaching to a very large crowd one day, and the crowd couldn't see him or hear him because there were so many people. So what Jesus did was he went and got into this boat that was a little bit off the land, but it made it able for everybody to be able to see him. So Jesus is standing on a boat here, right? And the land is here. And he is teaching to this crowd so that they could see and they could hear him. Well, later that night, Jesus was very tired after teaching all day, and he was kind of drained, and he decided that he wanted to rest. And so him and his disciples all piled onto that boat. So there was Jesus and his friends that were on the boat that Jesus was teaching on, okay? But they decided, we want to sail to the other side of the sea, okay? So they got on the boat and they started sailing and they started going across the water. Well, it kind of takes a long time to get across the sea where they wanted to go, right? And so Jesus decided, okay, now's my chance. I'm going to go take a nap. Because remember, he was really, really tired from teaching all day. And so he was going under deck so that he could take a nap. Well, while he was under deck, he was sleeping and everybody else stayed up on top of the deck. All of his disciples, all his friends. Remember, he had his friends with him. So Jesus was sleeping under the deck and his friends were on the deck of the boat, which is just the part that you can stand on in the boat, okay? And they were just chilling, waiting around, like riding the boat to the sea. I'm sure they were having to, you know, help manage the boat and fix the boat and all this stuff, but they really weren't too worried. The sea looked great and Jesus was sleeping and resting, which was fantastic. And so we're gonna all make our really, really, really tired face on 3 because we're gonna be like Jesus and we're really tired, okay? 1, 2, 3. That's how I felt yesterday. I was so tired, and this morning I'm feeling a lot better. But so while Jesus was sleeping though, later on, it started getting really dark in the sky and clouds started coming and they started forming and it got really, really, really windy and it got really rainy. And the storm picked up and the storm was huge. Okay, so remember, these disciples, a lot of them were fishermen, okay? So that means that they knew, they had to have been out in a storm before. So this wasn't their first storm to have been in. But the Bible tells us that this storm was huge. It was bigger than the normal storm that the fishermen or the disciples usually saw. So for them, they started getting really, really, really scared, like really scared, okay? So imagine, at first it's just like a little bit of a wind. We did this on Sunday, so if you remember how this goes, do it with me, okay? We're gonna make the sounds of a storm, okay? So at first it's just small. It's like this, you know? You can't even barely hear it. It gets a little bit louder, so rub your hands together like this. And then it gets louder. Let's snap our fingers. You can hear that a little more. And then louder, it goes louder. Let's clap our hands, right? And then even louder, and let's stomp our feet really loud. Go, 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 right? All right, so stop and sit back down. So the storm was building and building and building. And the disciples, Jesus' friends, were getting so scared. So they decided, okay, we have to go wake Jesus up. Like, we might die. This is so, so, so scary. So we're all going to make our freak out face, your best freak out face, okay? Ready, set, go. Or scared face, I guess. And my scared face usually is just like, you know, shock. So, so they went and woke Jesus up. But Jesus wasn't worried. The cool part about the story was that this huge storm was going on, but Jesus wasn't worried at all about the storm. So why do you think to yourself, why do you think Jesus wasn't worried about the storm? Why wouldn't he be worried? Well, the answer is because he's God, right? And he's in control. And so look what Jesus did when he woke up, okay? So it actually says, Jesus said to his disciples, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and gave the storm one small command. So he looks at his disciples, he looks at his friends, and he says, "Why are you so afraid? You have such little faith in me, right? You don't trust me. You're so afraid that you don't trust that I can handle this storm, this weather, right?" And then it says, he gave the storm one simple command. That's all it took. And this is what he told the storm. So he's looking out on the boat. He's looking at the waves and the wind and the rain, and he's talking to the storm. And he says this, "Quiet, be still." That's it. 3 simple words. Jesus said, "Quiet, be still." And what do you think happened to the storm? I'm venturing to say most of you said the storm became quiet because the storm listens to Jesus' command. So we're going to make the storm sound in reverse, okay? So Jesus comes up and he says, "Quiet, be still." And so the storm went from this, let's stop, right? Back to our clap. Back to our snaps. Our hands rubbing together. To just our fingers. To nothing. Hear how quiet that is? That's how quiet it was on the boat in the middle of the ocean because Jesus told the storm to be still. But do you guys remember the part where he came out and he told his disciples, his friends, "Hey, you don't have any faith in me? Why are you so scared?" Right? And so the point of this story is to say, when we have storms, it may not be actual bad weather. Sometimes it might be, but it might be more like, maybe our parents are fighting, or our friends are saying mean things about us behind our back, or we're doing bad in school, or we lost a bunch of games in a row in our baseball, right? Whatever your storm may be, or something, maybe a family member died, right? Maybe your pet died, or somebody's sick, right? These things happen in life. And that's called a storm, right? That's a storm for you and me. That's a storm because that is something that's really hard and really scary for us to go through. But Jesus told the disciples to have faith. Don't be afraid. So when the storms of our life come, right? Whenever that person in our family is sick, or whenever our pet dies, or whenever we're doing bad in school, whatever our storm may be, Jesus says, have faith in me, trust me, which means, hey, we just have to trust Jesus. We just have to say, hey, you know what, God? I know that I can't fix this. I know that I can't make this person not sick anymore. I know that I can't win all of these games on my own. I know that I can't make myself get straight A's all on my own. I need help, right? We know that God wants to help us. He just wants us to ask him, right? And a lot of times we don't ask, so the storm stays really, really bad. But God says, if you ask me, I can help you calm the storm. I can make your storm better, you know? And so what we're gonna do next in a little bit is we're gonna learn our memory verse, and then we're gonna do an object lesson to show you guys more about Jesus calming the storm, all right? All right, let's go to our memory verse. Let's go learn that together. We're gonna recite it all together. I'm gonna flash it up on the screen, and then we're gonna read it together a couple of times, all right? Okay, let's read this together. Our verse says, You came near when I called out to you. You said, do not be afraid. Lamentations 3:57. All right, so we're going to keep going and we're going to read it again. And you guys read with me this time. Ready? You came near when I called out to you. You said, do not be afraid. Lamentations 3:57. All right, we're going to read one more time together. You came near when I called out to you. You said, do not be afraid. Lamentations 3:57. Now you read it one more time on your own, and then we'll move on, okay? Ready, set, go. Perfect. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to do an object lesson. I found this really cool thing online that I think you guys are really going to like. So I didn't need a lot of things to do it. You don't have to do this at your house. It can just be something that you watch. But if you want to do it, you're welcome to. You can pause the video right here and you can get the things that I'm about to tell you, and then you can come back. But you don't have to go get these things. You can just watch me do this if you would like, okay? It's gonna be kind of messy. So maybe if you're younger and you don't have help at home right now, don't go try to do all this stuff, okay? So, all I have here is a bottle of water. It's half full, okay? And then I have some blue food coloring, okay? And then I have some canola oil, but you could use vegetable oil, olive oil, any kind of oil works, okay? And then I just have some stuff to clean with and our glue gun, all right? So, we'll get started. So this lesson, what did I say? It was about Jesus calming the storm, right? It's about us having faith that Jesus can calm our storms in life. Well, we're gonna make an ocean, okay? So, let's take our cap off of our water bottle and let's put a little bit of our food coloring, our blue coloring, in our water bottle. So let's see. How much do I want to do? That might be too dark. Let's see. So I'm going to take that now and I'm going to shake it up, okay? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty blue. That's dark blue. We got some dark blue water going on here. All right, we see it? So we got our blue water. All right, so now that we have our blue water, this is our ocean, okay? So this represents our ocean. And our ocean right now, it looks pretty calm, right? It looks pretty calm, like the beginning of the story when the ocean was calm, when Jesus was sleeping, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of our oil and we're gonna try to pour this into here without spilling. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it, guys. So let's take our oil and let's pour it in. And we're gonna fill the bottle the rest of the way up. Wow, okay. Now look, if you know anything, you would have known before, not if you know anything, if you know this about water and oil, okay? If you don't, that's okay, you're just not there yet in school and you'll learn it another year. So, water and oil don't mix well, okay? Ignore the truck outside. That was so loud. So water and oil don't mix well. So usually when you put them in the bottle, they separate, right? So our food coloring went right into the water and mixed, right? And it turned the water blue. But our oil did not turn our water into anything. It stays separated, right? Well, now imagine our storm is still calm like this, okay? Our storm is still calm. Still pretty chill. It's not really mixing yet, right? So I'm gonna take my hot glue gun. I'm gonna make sure so I can make sure that this basically doesn't come open when I shake it. I'm gonna glue my cap to my water bottle, okay? So let's see. Oh yeah. And this is a hot glue gun. So I'm gonna try to go slow and be careful because it hurts kind of when you get hot glue on your fingers. Okay. So here we are. Yeah. Perfect. So let's give this a second to dry. So, do you think if I shake it that it's gonna mix? Do you think if I shake the water bottle, the water and the oil is gonna mix? Do you? Yes, no, maybe so. Well, let's see. I'm gonna finish gluing. Okay. If you're doing this at home, take your time. Make sure your glue is dry. I do not want your hands to burn. But if you're just watching, we're gonna move ahead, okay? So remember, they're not mixed, right? So let's start maybe just a simple thing. Shaking it back and forth like this. It's mixing, right? It looks kind of pretty, but it's mixing. Now, I imagine this is kind of similar to what the disciples were experiencing on the boat. It started getting pretty messy, right? Pretty stormy, and it was no longer a pretty little ocean. It was no longer a pretty bottle of blue water or a calm bottle of water or a calm storm, right? Instead, it kind of got messy. And it started getting real scary. And it started looking like this in the ocean instead of like it did before, right? Well, this is about the time, I think, when the disciples started freaking out, really. This is about when they decided, hey, I'm gonna forget that Jesus, the Son of God, is downstairs. I'm gonna forget that he can calm every storm, even though he's told me a bunch of times, right? I'm gonna forget it. Because look, this looks stormy, right? It still looks stormy and it looks a little more scary. Well, then what do the disciples do? After they get scared, what do? They go down and they wake up Jesus, right? And Jesus wakes up and Jesus is so calm. He's cool, he's collected, he doesn't look worried at all, right? So let's make our most calm or cool face, okay? So let's pretend we're Jesus and we're waking up and the disciples are freaking out and there's a storm going on all around us, but we're gonna keep our cool, okay? So let's pretend like we wake up to being a cool cucumber, okay? In 3, 2, 1. Some of you might have done like I'm cool, you know? Or like a model pose, like whatever you want to do, that's fine. But Jesus was really calm, right? And then he came up and he told his disciples, remember? He told his disciples, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? Why didn't you trust me, he said. Why didn't you trust me? You know that I'm God. You know that I can handle this. Why didn't you trust me? Well, then he looks at the storm and he says, quiet, be still. Quiet, be still. And our oil is taking a little long to separate, but look, I imagine this is what it's like. The storm began to quiet. You see how it's getting back to normal? Our water is? Soon, our oil will be back to normal, and it's all gonna be separated again. And it's gonna be like it was before. Which is just like what happened in the ocean. It was like it was before. It was calm, okay? So this is just an example of our ocean, of how when the storms get crazy, right? Do we need to shake up our bottle? Do we need to shake it up by being more scared? Because the only thing that's gonna happen if you have something bad going on in your life, and you freak out, if you freak out and you get really scared and you get really worried, the only thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna make you feel worse, right? It's gonna make us feel worse, and it's gonna make us make worse decisions because we're gonna be upset or maybe mad at somebody, versus if our storm starts getting kind of crazy, right, and our bottle starts tossing a little bit, before we let our storm get too bad, we need to go find God. And we need to say, hey God, I know that this is really hard right now. God, I know that what seems like it's really hard in my life and what seems like nobody could fix it, nobody could help me, I know that you can, God. And we pray and we tell him, hey, we know that you can. We know that you can. Jesus promises to calm our hearts, right? Because the storm that's going on is mainly about what's inside of us, right? It's how we're handling our storm. It's how we're dealing with it. So if we have a lot going on around us, a lot of scary things, like our family's sick, you know, all those things we talked about earlier, and we're freaking out on the inside, God promises us to calm our hearts, right? To allow us to be able to have what we've talked about before, peace, right? He says, come to me and I will give you rest. I will give you peace. And so God promises to help you, not be scared. Does that mean that every storm in your life, every bad situation is going to be fixed like that? No. God doesn't promise to fix every single storm all of the time the way that we want him to fix it, right? No, he promises to calm the storm in our hearts, which means when we're scared or we're freaking out, he promises to take us, and it's like he takes our hand and he holds our hand and he says, hey, I'm here with you. I've got it. Don't worry, you know? And so sometimes the situation in our life, God does heal people, right? God does help us get the grade that we want. But sometimes he doesn't fix the problem in our life the exact way we want him to. But that's okay, because the storm inside of us, our heart, our soul, our mind, everything is peaceful, right? And that way when we're peaceful, we can see a little more clearly. We treat others better. We see that God is in control and we don't freak out. And so that is the object lesson for this week. Look, it's slowly separating more. If you can see at the very top, it's just oil now. In the bottom, there's just water. In the middle is still separating. But if you made one of these, be careful, okay? Don't spill it everywhere. Oil is really, really, really messy to clean up. But for the rest of you, I am super, super happy that everybody came and that they listened and that they watched today. I hope you learned something about asking Jesus to calm the storm inside of you. And so what we're gonna do now is, I think we're actually gonna end it, and we have some other things for you guys to do next, okay? So keep watching for more instruction. All right, guys, thanks for joining us for Kingdom Kids Online this week. That's it for the lesson. You can click out of this video and go to the other links that we have, which we have some music like we normally do with the motions, and then we will have a video like we normally have to retell the story in maybe in a more a better way for you to understand. So if you're still confused about the story, go watch the video that retells the story. And if you want to do some dancing and have some music and just have some fun, click out of this and go watch those other videos, all right? I will see you guys all on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., okay? We will be back at church at 9 a.m. and we'll teach a new lesson. We'll do more music and more games, and we're going to have a blast. So I'll see you guys on Sunday morning, all right? Bye.
Sunday's empty too. Since when has impossible